happen. Feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 4D, 4D. It's different. Yeah, that's winning. Stamped on the wheel like a crest. I don't just play, I live it. Every stitch says get it. From the couch to the checkered, I'm the storm when I wear it.
Hello everybody and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear, and we are live here at the Chicagoland Speedway for 133 laps of Horizon IndyCar Series action. And Caleb, we've called some IndyCar races, we've called some stock car races. My friend, this is a track that can be any one of about three different things, depending on how it's set up. We could have a pack race, we could have a tire management race, or we could have a fuel mileage derby, and we don't know which one we're going to get, do we?
No, we don't. Usually it's always a tire wear race, especially with the hotter temperatures that we are seeing here at Chicago today. It should be a little bit leaning more towards the tire save, I would imagine. But I don't imagine it won't be a fuel save race unless we get a really early caution. Then you could probably split the strategies a little bit, and then after that, it could be a pack race, but I think we'll see a little bit of all three of those today.
It is super warm here, 81 degrees on the in the air, 126 degrees on the track. You got a breath of wind out of the south at 5 miles an hour, but it is really, really warm on the speedway for these drivers as they take to the track for qualifying. We're gonna get the leaderboard up there so the fans at home can keep track. The things that you need to know about the Chicagoland Speedway. This track originally was a joint venture between NASCAR, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Dale Coyne, of all things. It cost $130 million to build, and it opened in 2001. It originally had, Caleb, a season ticket, so in order to come to the NASCAR race, you had to buy an IndyCar ticket too. It served as one of the final races of the season for many years on the IndyCar schedule, and this place was packed back in the day. I remember coming here in the early 2000s, and you could not buy, beg, steal, or borrow a ticket. It was full. The track has been dormant for a few years under full NASCAR ownership because of the Chicago Street Race, but it's making a return, Caleb. They're going to be coming out to the big speedway in Joliet once again, beginning, I believe, this year, right?
Yeah, they're coming back this year, Murph.
Coming back this year. Track record here in a NASCAR Cup machine, 29.736, set by Kyle Busch in 2017. The IndyCar track record, 24.421 miles an hour. That's better than 224 miles an hour. That's Buddy Rice in a Dallara IR18, set in 2002. That was one of those Eddie Cheever Infinity hand grenades. Those cars were fast, man.
Yes, they were indeed. We won't be hitting those quite as won't be hitting those speeds here today. Not quite. We are in the pack gain upwards of 230 miles an hour, but just the setup of the car is about half a second slower than what that lap record is. Currently, Brandon. Actually, it's now Luca. Oh, they're all setting your times in. The scoreboard's going crazy right now. It's Brian Greenlee, number 38. He sets a 24.8, so about a half second slower than what the actual real-life track record is here.
It is indeed. We just watched Jeff Hysong go to 7th quick. We'll jump on. Let's jump on the roll bar, Craig Forsyth, as he turns around the Chicagoland Speedway. This track is really awesome. It's a neat place to watch a race. I live 90 minutes away from it. It's a shame that that they quit. That IndyCars quit coming here. But the reason they did, Caleb, is this track not only was bought out by NASCAR, so they lost the season ticket package, but the other thing is that this track really, unless the conditions are set correctly, it is very much a pack race, and IndyCar has definitely tried to distance themselves from that. When these cars were here in the mid 2000s, I was here when Ryan Briscoe went up in the fence and split his car in half. It got to the point where it was a little bit too dangerous. I think now, with Firestone being able to produce the tires that fall away, I think it might be okay. But in truth, they would run around here for 300 miles and never be able to get off one another. Craig Forsyth has gone to 17th quick, and I believe that's just about all we're going to see in terms of qualifications here today, Caleb. With that said, qualifying is now done. We're going to talk points here for just a second. Kyle Clinworth leads those points, 232 points after 7 of 12 races. Matty Wagner, 14 markers behind in second. Lith Fox, Chris Albrecht, and Brandon Statton are your top 5. Wagner and Fox still within striking distance. Albrecht, Statton, and Indy Kirchenbauer, they are in a cluster from 4th to 6th. Then you've got Andrew Surwack, Brandon Domingue, and Craig Forsyth are tied for 8th, and Hunter Ingrave is 10th in the points. So those are your point standings as we get into round 8 at Chicagoland. On the pole, it's going to be Indy Kirchenbauer, 222.626 miles an hour. He'll be flanked by Soup, the man we call Soup, Ryan Campbell. He is to the outside. Ryan Campbell will start second. Gary Lover and Ty Keela will start third and fourth from Nate Fields. And primetime, John Stellard, he's going to go from sixth. Chris Albrecht, Luca Tedesco are going to start, Brian Greenlee, Luca Tedesco, 7th and 8th. And Chris Albrecht, Yari Brubaker will round out your top 10. In 11th, it's Sheridan Wade, followed by Matty Wagner, Brandon Domingue, Matthew Carroll, Jeff Heisong, Andrew Serwack, Brandon Staten, Craig Forsyth, Wayne Campbell, and Kyle Clinworth did not set a time. Clindy will go from 20th. 21st, stock car ace Ryan O'Donoghue. 22nd, Joseph Morales. Neither one of those drivers set time. They will go from the back of the grid. Same for Clinworth. Forsyth, very slow in his qualifying effort as well. We would definitely look for Clinworth, Forsyth, Andrew Serwack, those drivers to come toward the front here, Caleb. Those are some fast shoes stuck in the back of the field.
Yes, it is indeed. But we also got some big players up towards the front. Indy Kirchenbauer, Ryan Campbell, Gary Lovern, and Ty Keela are your top 4. And those guys, I reckon if it's going to be a tire save race, I reckon those 4 will break away from the pack fairly quickly here, Murph.
Absolutely, and that's something to consider. We're going to get back on the weather. 82 in the air, 126 on the track, and look, that's some pretty stout weather. These conditions are very much like the race that you and I ran in Chicago at the Sim Gaming Expo. These cars are very sensitive to high temperatures. The new tire model makes you lose a ton of grip when it's hot, and depending on how the car is set up, we could really see a lot of good racing, a lot of racing like we saw last night in the Area 51 series at Iowa with differing tire strategies, clean air being prominent. And you've also got to worry about fuel here, Caleb, because you got full tank, you can go 50 laps. The longer you can stretch it and stay in the pack, my man, the better off you're going to be at the end. And the final part of that story, as we get ready to go to green flag action, is the more fuel you save, usually the easier you are on the tires.
Green flag, green flag.
Pace car is off. Indy Kirchenbauer will lead him away, and we are underway here at Chicago in the Horizon IndyCar Series Round 8. Kirchenbauer leads the way through turn 1. Campbell gets solid in second. He's got a challenge, though, from Gary Lovren in third, Caleb.
Yes, he does. It looks like Brian Campbell's going to go choose that second to third lane around the outside of Indy Kirchenbauer. And one thing that Chicagoland is absolutely great for, and that's one reason I absolutely love racing around this track, is how many lanes you're able to use around the track. You know, sometimes it's not really possible, or sometimes the lines around other mile and a halves isn't that efficient. Chicagoland, you could pretty much go 3 to 4 wide the entirety around the track, and you could race very, very well around here. And we're starting to see that with Brian Campbell stay on the high side. Looks like he's going to go for the lead. Yes, he does. He clears Indy Kirchenbauer for the lead here going into turn number 1.
He most certainly does. Gary Lovren firmly ensconced in third, and he's got primetime John Stellard behind him. You mentioned that the layout here. It is 18 degrees of banking in the corners, 11 on the front stretch, 5 on the back. But this track is unique. In a nod to the old Langhorne Speedway in Pennsylvania, the big circle is John Stellard ducks underneath teammate Gary Lovren. Stellard looking to go to third. Lovren going to rally back on that high side, and we're already 4 laps deep, looking to start lap 5. The backstretch, and you can see it from that angle, is not straight, Caleb. It is a corner. It's not completely straight, so that is a unique part of this track. Otherwise, it would be almost identical to the Kansas Speedway.
Yes, it would indeed, and it's equal on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The corners are equal. Sometimes the other mile and a halves, like Kentucky, for example, or Texas, they're a bit different. But this one, you could pretty much take both ends of the track kind of the same way. The wind here is pretty tame, so you won't have to worry about the wind too much pushing in one direction, pulling in the other on opposite ends of the track. So it should race fairly even as we see Indy Kirchenbauer now try that high line for the lead. Behind them, Gary Lovren and John Stellard, they're going to go side by side. They got very close off the corner here, and John Stellard on that high side is going to get third here, but they still are going battle side by side going in 1 and 2.
You mentioned the different lines, and you can see Campbell on the bottom, Kirchenbauer in the middle, and primetime John Stellard, he's able to use the free air all the way up against the fence, and John Stellard has now closed. He's going to make it a 3-way fight for the lead here before too much longer.
Yes, he will indeed, and Kirchenbauer's got another run to the outside. Campbell has been holding that bottom line tight, not quite white lining. He is drifting up, coming off the corner, so it's not completely a white line fest just yet, especially with how early it is in the race. But one thing these drivers do have to consider is that this track will destroy tires. There's no way around it, especially with how hot it is right now. This track will destroy the tires. So that's one thing. Not so much that the top 3 drivers with all the clean they have, but everybody else behind them, you see how spread out it is. They're all trying to manage their tires right now and try to make them last as long as possible and not, possibly get in a meatball, which is very, very usually does happen around here. I think it did happen in the open race a couple weeks ago. Behind Clenworth, you see Ty Keela and Andrew Sirowick. The number 22, they went side by side through turns 3 and 4. Clendy, he's already made up a ton of ground, but of course, like I said, he's got to worry about those tires here, Murph, and that's one ththing as he goes for another position. He's this time going to the bottom. He was working that outside line for quite a bit now. He's working that bottom line now on Jari Bubiker. And he gets another position. Clendy on an absolute charge in the early stages of this race. Indy currently up, doing the math real quick. Well, it's about to be 15 positions. Currently fighting for the top 5 position, and it's only lap 13. Very early on in his race, and Clinty's already made his way up to the front. He had an ELL for hitting penalty points over the course of the season, so he did have to start from the back. It wasn't his choice to not qualify. He did have to start from the back of the field, but he is absolutely climbing through the field, and it feels like there's absolutely nothing that could stop Clendy, especially at these mile and a halves. He's very good at them. He's very talented at these mile and a halves, but he drops a little bit back. He's got Nate Fields to his inside. Clendy right in the wall. Taps the wall going into turn number 3. Nate Fields coming off turn number 4. He's going to have to slipstream, but Clendy clears him going on to the front straightaway, and Clendy still able to hold that 6th place position. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, Indy Kirkenbauer, Brian Campbell, and John Stellard all going for a top 3 position at the moment. These guys they all have clean air, so they're able to save tires better than everybody else. They have separated themselves from Gary Lovern in 4th. It's about, last time around, it was about 0.6 of a gap. It looks about 10 car lengths there. But the leaders are holding themselves up, going side by side like this. If they try to work together, they can easily break away from the rest of the field. Because, one, they got Kyle Clinworth on their hot on their tails. They also got Ty Keela, who is also in that 10th place position. He is trying to save tires. He will be back at the later end of this stint here, Murph.
You know he will. Clinworth works to the outside of Brian Greenlee, and he'll go to the 5th spot. Greenlee falls back in line. But I kind of wanted to illustrate something from Clinworth's point of view, and that is this. With those 3 cars running like that, yeah, they're not able to pull away, Caleb, but what they are doing is putting up a wall of dirty air, and that's going to be very difficult for Clindy to drive through the closer he gets. He's going to move to the outside of Gary Lovern here going through turns 1 and 2. Isn't quite close enough. We'll see if he can get there through 3 and 4. Down to the bottom goes Kyle Clinworth. He'll move into the 4th spot. But you can see the tires already starting to give up on that 10 machine, Caleb. He cannot hold the bottom as efficiently as he once did.
Yeah, I noticed that a couple laps ago when he was going side by side with Nate Fields, but he finds himself in the 4th place position. And it's only lap number 20. We're not even a quarter way through this race, and he's already not only a top 5 position, but is currently hunting down our leaders to try to make a pass on them. But he's going to have to get around all 3 of them. All 3 of them are going to have much fresher tires than he is, and Clendy will probably feel the fall off very, very soon into his stint.
Yeah, the closer he gets, the more negatively impacted he's going to be by that dirty air. And you can see he's closed in to just about 0.9 of a second behind primetime John Stellard. He's working that high line, but the progress is going to be much, much slower for Clinworth now as we work 21 laps of the 133. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight on P1. You're watching the Horizon IndyCar Series. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit that like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. Want to thank series sponsors 40 Racewear. That is sim racing hats, gloves, shoes, apparel, championship rings. Hit them up, 40racewear.com. And if you need an IndyCar driver's face as a soap in your bathroom, hit up taupessoaps.com. That's taupessoaps.com. Promo code Horizon. That promo code will get you buy one, get one free. I've got a couple of those. There's nothing more, Caleb, that my wife loves than going to the bathroom and having Pato O'Ward stare at her from the soap dish.
Well, not only that, I think didn't they also just get David Malukas to sign on board? If that's the case, I'm very excited for that one.
You know, let's see. I will admit
they did get Pato O'Ward was originally the only one on there, but they did get quite a few number of other drivers, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's see. I'm on taupessoaps.com right now. You've got Pato, David Malukas. There is a duck taupe. So,
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
I might have to pick me up a David Malukas one.
Hey, whatever the girls like, I'm all for. And Natalie loves the taupes soaps that we have hanging around the house. So get guys, go get some taupe soaps. They are very fun, and they're actually pretty good. It's pretty decent soap too. Ryan Campbell leads it here. He's got Indy Kirchenbauer to his outside. Primetime John Stellard is lurking in third. The front three have managed to break away. Clinworth has inched closer, but it's not decisive. He's catching Stellard a little bit. I think Stellard's tires, Caleb, are starting to give up just a little. It is much harder to run the high line than it is lanes 1 and 2. And to be fair, because you're working the tires a little bit harder up there, and I think he's starting to lose the pace just a little bit. Indy Kirchenbauer is no longer seriously challenging Ryan Campbell for the lead. I think we're going to sit kind of like this all square until we get time to hit pit road. That window opens at about lap 45.
Yeah, 45 is typically what we'll see the leaders do, especially on a full push. You can push it up to around lap 52, lap 53 on a full tank, and if you're in slipstream. But these cars are fairly spread out at the moment. I imagine we probably will see some drivers make lap 50, but it's not going to be. We probably won't see many drivers make it to lap 51, 52. And if they somehow make it to 53, it might be one or two of them, and they need a lot of slipstream help to make it that far.
One of the things that you do, and let's get back on board with Kyle Clinworth to see if he is doing it. Is you lift a lot around here later on in the run, and that helps the fuel mileage. And yes, Clinworth is lifting. You hear him downshift into fifth, and he has gone back to running the bottom, Caleb. He's no longer right around the top of the speedway as he was earlier.
Yeah, it's just one way to tire save a little bit better is running that bottom line. Even if you have a wall and air in front of you, sometimes that's just the best option, is just running that bottom. You see a lot of times, like in these mile-and-a-half tracks, Homestead is like the greatest example of that. As tempting as that high line feels like it could be, and it's the same case scenario for this track as well, but especially at Homestead, where that bottom line just significantly is better at tire saving if you're in clean air or if you're in even the biggest pack air. Sometimes just holding that bottom just saves tires so much better than running that high line. And that's what we're seeing here right now. Clendy is running about half a groove up. He wants to get a little bit lower than that to absolutely save tires as efficiently as possible. But he is starting to see the fall off of his tires. And he sees that right in front with John Stellard falling a little bit further back. He just wants to save tires as much as he can and try to make these tires last as long as possible until we get into the pit stop here.
He did indeed. Do want to point out that there are some different battles back to the pack as Indy Kirchenbauer made a bid for the lead, didn't quite get there. Ty Keela fell back quite a bit on the start. He started fourth. He went as far back as 10th, and he has started to pull his way forward. Another one of those cars that is beginning to move toward the front, Craig Forsyth. He started in the 18th spot. He's currently 11th and moving forward. And so those guys we anticipated would be stronger on the long run. Craig Forsyth, Ty Keela starting to come back to the front. Matty Wagner, he started 12th. He's 9th and currently looking for 8th on his buddy Brian Greenlee. And so those cars that are more of the veterans, they kind of let the field go ahead, burn their stuff up early, and they're starting to come back toward the front.
Yes, they are indeed. Ty Keela currently closing that gap to Gary Lovern in front. Meanwhile, behind them, Matt Wagner's has gotten around Brian Greenland and has kind of dropped in a little bit. Matt is going to see if he can follow Ty in front to try to get themselves closer to the top 5 position. And as we see Ty making that outside look, or make that outside work, going through 3 and 4. He's able to get that position. Ty Keela up into that 6th place spot here early in the running. And as we should be looking close to the fuel cycle. It is a little bit early right now, but within next, I think I did the math right. You need to hit 44 laps, about 44 laps each stint if you want to do equal. So within the next 6 laps or so, we will see some of the pack possibly come down to pit road here.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to see green flag stops anytime. Let's get a little bit further back in the field. Craig Forsyth is working on Chris Albrecht. Albrecht is fighting with Brian Greenlee. Albrecht had said in the chat, by the way, that said he was only going to stay for about 20 or 30 minutes. But as you know, Caleb, you strap it in, you start going fast, and you're having fun, you tend to stick around for a little bit. Chris Albrecht remains on the speedway, and he is looking at the 10th spot right behind him. You've got Craig Forsyth closing in. A little bit further back in the field, Andrew Surwack and Nate Fields are doing battle. Nate Fields, as much as we've talked about guys going forward, Nate Fields has really fallen to the back. He started up in that 5th spot, and he has dropped to 15th here, Caleb. And he's looking like he might lose a spot to Ryan O'Donoghue. He's got Andrew Surwack in front of him. But Ryan O'Donoghue started last in this race, Caleb, and he has pulled himself forward to the 16th spot, so he's passed 6 cars as well. Ryan Campbell is on the pit lane. Ryan Campbell is going to split this into 3 equal stints. He has already hit the pit box. Campbell going to get himself 4 fresh Mr. Feelgoods and head back out on the speedway, and that will hand the lead over to Indy Kirchenbauer, who has dropped primetime John Stellard. Stellard better be careful because he is just about going to be under fire from Kyle Clinworth. That'll promote Ty Keela to 4th as Jari Brubaker and Andrew Surwack have hit the pit lane.
Yeah, it's a little bit early to try to make this on a 2-stop. They needed to go about 3 more laps. So they are a little bit early, but with them being all in the pack, maybe they wanted to try to save tires a little bit in the 2nd and 3rd stints and try to get a new set of Firestone rubber on as fast as possible. So maybe that's the strategy, but they are a little bit early to try to make it on just 2 stops.
That opened the floodgates, Caleb. Indy Kirchenbauer, Kyle Clinworth, Brian Greenlee, Joseph Morales, Brandon Domingue, all on the pit lane. Now primetime John Stellard is going to hit it. Same for Ty Keela, Jeff Highsong, Craig Forsyth, Chris Albrecht. Everybody now coming down for wholesale pit stops. That'll leave Matt Wagner in the lead. Wayne Campbell too fast entering pit lane. He'll have a black flag. Matt Wagner in the lead by some 5 seconds over this man, Ryan O'Donoghue, who is now 2nd. Brandon Statton is 3rd, and Matt Carroll runs along in 4th. That is your top 4. Wagner now hits the pit lane. So too Ryan O'Donoghue. Brandon Statton comes in, and that's going to leave just Matthew Carroll on the racing surface, Caleb Brashear. And Carroll at this point is saying, please, I want a caution.
Yeah, it would be absolutely just amazing if a caution came out right now because he beat the best on fuel because he can make it theoretically just 2 more stops from here. Obviously, he hasn't pitted yet, but he can make it on a 2-stop from here. Going 45, 46 laps, he is easily within that window, and he will have the freshest tires at the end of this race if it goes green. So if it goes green from here. So he is in an ideal strategy, and he is going to pit this time by.
He is indeed. He's going to be followed down the pit lane by Ryan O'Donoghue. And O'Donoghue had just stopped. So interesting choice there from Ryan O'Donoghue. Don't know if there's something wrong with that car or not. And that will leave Matthew Carroll in the lead, but not for long. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to streak past. And O'Donoghue has staked himself to a 1.6 second lead over his teammate Kyle Clinworth, who has worked around Indy Kirchenbauer. Moved Clindy to second, Kirchenbauer to third, and those cars are nearly 3 seconds clear of primetime John Stellard, who is about 2.5 clear of Ty Keela, and Ty Keela has about a second over Yari Brubaker and Matt Wagner. So Wags, he made that long cycle work. He's gonna jump up to 7th here.
Yeah, and he's all. Another crucial thing, he's going to have the freshest tires. That's going to be crucial, especially in his clean air running. It will matter over the course of an entire stint. But he does have Yari Bubiker on his outside. That is going to hurt him a little bit fighting another car. That's just going to slow you down a little bit and wear your tires out a little bit more. So he does manage to get by him going into turn number 1, and now he sets his sights forward on Ty Keela.
He does indeed. Speaking of working on setting their sights forward, Craig Forsyth battling with Chris Albrecht. Albrecht in 9th. Craig Forsyth is in 10th. Forsyth would dearly love to get past here. He's the same on tires as Albrecht, but he has been steadily moving forward. You see the crossover coming out of turn 4, Caleb. Craig Forsyth is going to move in to the 9th spot, and he will begin his chase toward Gary Lovern. Meanwhile, Indy Kirchenbauer has not left Kyle Clinworth. These are two of the younger guns in the IndyCar community. Kirchenbauer, we call him the prodigy. We call Kirchenbauer the prodigy for good reason. He burst on the scene last year, has been very, very, very quick at the highest levels. Clinworth, of course, has won pretty much everything there is to win in the fixed portion of this car. And we're watching them do battle for the second spot as Ryan Campbell just kind of inches away. You think maybe they're swapping for effect here, trying to maybe use the draft to catch old Soup up there at the front, Caleb?
That's what it appears to be. They have swapped effectively either every lap or every straightaway, but it seems like Kirchenbauer has dropped back a little bit. He's got a run here. We'll see if Clendy does voluntarily move up. He does. So it does look like they are swapping to a degree to try to catch old Ryan Campbell in front. We'll see if it's able to work out. They are a second behind, and the closer they get, the more dirty air they will get from my car in front. And they're at that point, once you get really close, you're just going to have to get them on pace at that point.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they're still feeling the effect of the draft of Ryan Campbell in front of him. If you look out the nose of Indy Kirchenbauer, you can see Ryan Campbell. He's just a second up the road, so they are getting some effect of the draft here from Campbell. But that also means they're getting some of the dirty air too, Caleb, and it kind of works out. It kind of works out to cut both ways as you see Kirchenbauer continue to work. Clinworth is content now to ride in third. Forsyth has navigated past Albrecht, and so he now runs in. Well, Forsyth now just dropped behind Chris Albrecht. There's that battle. I was going to come back here because you've got Jeff Heisong, Andrew Surwack, and Luca Tedesco. They're going after it, hammer and tong, 11th, 12th, and 13th. These three seem to be determined to turn this into a pack race yet, Caleb.
Yeah, this pack has just came together. They were kind of separated a couple laps ago, but now Brian Greenlee and Andrew Surwack going side by side. They have been going, or not Surwack, apologies. Jeff Heisong have been going side by side for about 2 laps now, and they have not left each other's side pods. They still are side by side going through 3 and 4, and it looks like Brian currently has the advantage on that high side, but he's not able to clear at the moment here, Murph.
No, he's not able to close him out. Do want to point out that if you were going to run this in 3 equal stints on 2 stops, you need to make it 45 laps on 2 of your runs. They did not make that earlier. Ryan Campbell kicked off the pit party at lap 41. In order to make it home, you're going to need to make it to lap 83. We are working 58 of 133 here on P1. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. We got a nice crowd on hand. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. We're going 3 wide down the back. High Song in the middle. Move Andrew Surwack into that 12th spot. Kyle Clinworth has now made it past Indy Kirchenbauer. Either that or they're continuing to swap. They haven't really been able to break the 0.9 of a second barrier. And for them, good news is ahead of Ryan Campbell because he's got a lap car in front of him. That is, I believe, Sheridan Wade.
But it also means he will have Slipstream in front and obviously Dirty Air as well. But if sometimes with the pace advantage of a leader coming across a lap car, Campbell cuts in front of the nose there of Sheridan Wade. But sometimes that's, having a lap car, if they're predictable, you can use that to your advantage if you get by them really quickly and you're able to use their draft a lot earlier. Whereas the pack behind you now has to deal with not only that lap car, but you as well with Dirty Air. This could be very fortunate for Campbell trying to set a gap between him and the duo of Indy and Clendy here.
It is, Caleb, and here's the other thing about that. With that lap car now in between Campbell and the Clendy and Indy show behind him, that's going to throw up a ton of dirty air back there for those two that are trying to catch. And at this point in the run, they're 19 laps on their tires. That works against them as much as it does for them. Yeah, they got somebody to draft off of, but they're not really making any ground because they got to start lifting in the corners. Meanwhile, Ryan Campbell's got the best view in the house because that's what he sees ahead of him. Not really much of anything. There are cars up there, but they're a couple 3 seconds up the road. And Soup, he's just driving. He's out for a Wednesday night drive here, Caleb.
Yeah, he is. And one thing that I do want to mention is that Clendy has dropped off the back of Indy Kirchenbauer. So now Kirchenbauer is going to have to muscle his way up to Ryan Campbell if he wants to try to even get by him. He can't swap draft with Clendy at the moment. He's too far back, and he's going to have to not only get around this lap car and deal with his dirty air, but deal with the dirty air of Ryan Campbell. With old tires, it looks like it's going in Ryan Campbell's favor at the moment. And this gap is coming to it actually closed a little bit. Indy Kirchenbauer did go slightly faster last time around, but it is maintaining around 0.9 of a second here.
Yeah, and Indy Kirchenbauer, I've been watching the lap times. He'll gain 0.05 of a second one lap, and then he'll lose 0.05 of a second the next lap. He just cannot seem to break through that 0.9 of a second barrier ahead to Ryan Campbell, and it started to grow now. Campbell ahead by 1.1 seconds. Do want to look a little bit further back because Chris Albrecht has now caught Yari Brubaker and Gary Lovern, so 7th, 8th, 9th, and they've got Craig Forsyth along in 10th. This group is in contact, and there's about to be some nice racing that occurs here between these three. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, and of course, if you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. It's a full slate. We've got the Formula Super Series on the sister stream tonight, the AMA Grand National Series on Thursday, the Truck Series on Friday. No races this weekend, and we'll be back for the Indy Open Series on Monday as the regular schedule resumes next week. No races on Easter. I like that, Caleb.
What are we going to do, though, Murph?
Well,
what are we going to do? We got no races.
I'm gonna load the kids in the car and I'm gonna drive to Florida. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, Murph is going a little bit on a vacation, and which means you'll have a substitute in the AMA series.
We will indeed. Gary is gonna man the truck broadcast on Friday. We're gonna have Jacob Collins do the Grand National race on Thursday. You'll have to help them a lot, Caleb. They're very much open wheel guys as we watch Lovren, Brubaker, and Albrecht do battle here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. This is about the best battle on the track. Clinworth has gotten back by Indy Kirchenbauer, and I think he was just sitting back there saying, all right, well, let me cool my stuff down and see if I can't make a go of this. But he hasn't really made any ground either. Still anywhere from a second to 1.2 seconds behind Ryan Campbell, depending on where they are on the track, Caleb.
And Chris Albrecht is coming down pit road here, Murph. And he spins on pit road. He's in the infield.
Chris Albrecht fails to make it to the pit lane. He spins on the grass. We will have no caution. He will get a black flag, most likely for unsafe pit entry. And we're going to get back and show you what happened with Chris Albrecht. It is really super easy to do. The transition here is very abrupt when you get down on a pit lane, Caleb, and you got to crank the wheel a little bit harder left than you'd probably like to. And Chris Albrecht found that transition, and it spun him out. I think he was probably a little bit late here, too. Normally you want to be below that yellow line before you really start to turn. He's too hot. He's going to lock up the rears, and around she goes for Chris Albrecht, and he has already punched out of the service, or the server. Excuse me.
Yeah, he had a very good run there for a top 10 finish, and just had a simple little mistake. And he just decides to park it there. Just very unfortunate, especially from a very strong run from him.
It was indeed. Jari Brubaker is pulling back up on the tail of Gary Lovren. Meanwhile, Ty Keela has made it to the back of primetime John Stellard. They're going to do battle here. Keela moves it to the bottom down the back, and he should be able to make it past John Stellard. There aren't any cars really that close in front of them, although they have picked up the scent and started to catch Indy Kirchenbauer. Indy has really started to fall off. Ty Keela, the last time through, was a couple of tenths quicker. Keela actually was faster than was the fastest car in the top 4.
And the gap between Campbell, Clendy, and Kirchenbauer has completely closed up. It was about a second about 5 laps ago. Now that Campbell has caught lap traffic, that gap has came down significantly. It's about half a second now. Campbell has been riding that high line, trying to manage this lap traffic's dirty air in front of him, as Brandon Domingue, Matthew Carroll, and Joseph Morales all in front. It is a wall of dirty air that Campbell is having to deal with right now. Clendy also dealing with that at the moment, and the gaps have kind of stagnated at the moment, but that gap has significantly came down to what was about 5 to 10 laps ago.
Yeah, Clinworth and Kirchenbauer have chopped it just about in half. Ty Keela is still about 5 seconds behind them. He's now moved around primetime John Stellard. And here's the thing: if you're Ryan Campbell, you want to get through this traffic and start putting cars in between yourself and Clinworth, because that is going to slow the pursuit of positions 2 and 3 as they head in here. And Campbell, I think he'd like to come get some tires too. He's been out there 37 laps. The problem with that is we've got caution.
Caution is out.
Caution is on the speedway. Andrew Surawak is missing a front wing. And I saw Craig Forsyth sliding. These two were racing for the 9th and 10th spot. And let's see what's happened to Andrew and Craig. Looks like Andrew came up just a little bit, got in the back of Craig Forsyth, and Forsyth gets to go for the ride. He loops it around, does several spins, but I don't think Craig Forsyth hit anything, Caleb.
He did not. The only thing was he did have that bit of contact, but thankfully no damage. Oh, as I see that, I saw I can't make that. Nate Fields got very close to his rear wing in the middle of 1 and 2, but no damage, it appears, for Craig Forsyth through that contact. Andrew Surak does have a broken front wing, and now you're going to see all of the cars come down pit road to take some tires here, Murph.
We are. Everybody is going to take this opportunity to pit. The problem with this, though, is that if you're leading, you're not going to be able to make it home on fuel. Poor Craig blinked out a little bit. Nate Fields didn't know which way to dodge, and that could have been disastrous. But everybody comes out of it okay. Indy Kirchenbauer on pit lane. Campbell will lead away. Clinworth second. Kirchenbauer third. As we exit pit lane, 80 laps, working lap 80 of 133. Do want to thank series sponsors 40 Racewear and Topes Soaps. 40 Racewear is sim racing, shoes, hats, gloves, apparel, championship rings, all to be found at 40racewear.com. You can also visit topessoaps.com, enter promo code Horizon, and you will be able to get yourself an IndyCar driver head for a soap. Promo code Horizon, buy one, get one free, topessoaps.com. We're going to end the poll, Caleb. 80% of our viewers have said they want tires. Only one person wanted the track position if it comes down to it. So, I think people have been watching Days of Thunder. Tires is what wins a race, huh, Caleb?
They need those special tires. They need those special Goodyears.
You know what that comes from, right?
Murph, I'm too young to know what it comes from.
It's so the quote is from Days of Thunder, but the actual story was Tim Richmond. So when he was on the comeback trail in 1987, they brought him to Darlington for a test, and the entire NASCAR community was present. He was being observed by officials and other drivers. They get ready to load the car back onto the truck, and Harry Hyde, legendary crew chief for Tim Richmond, put left side tires on the right side. Richmond went out, set a new track record. They loaded the car back up on the truck, and never said another word about it. And the trick is that the lefts back in those bias ply days were actually a different compound, and they were much, much stickier.
You learn something new every day.
You do indeed. Brian Campbell is going to lead him down for the restart. As he does, the pace car comes away. Barney's going to throw the green flag up in the air, and we are back underway here at Chicagoland. And this has really been a godsend for Ty Keela, because Keela was 5 seconds behind. Same for Matt Wagner. They're now going to get bunched right up with the leaders, and they're going to have a chance to bid for a win here, Caleb.
They will indeed, but this is, I think you can make it from here if you just pit. However, it is a massive, massive fuel save, especially if you're these leaders. You want to be in that map 4 to 5 range at the beginning of the stint and then see where it goes from there. So we are in one of those types of races that Chicagoland produces. We are now in the fuel save stint, about 53 laps to go when it went green. And that's right on the edge of if you can make it or not in the pack. And with you going that long, well, your tires are going to fall off too. So you may as well make it a tire save race as well.
I don't know that you can make it 53 laps if you run. I don't know that you can make it 53 laps even if you run map 5 if you're full throttle, Caleb. You're gonna need at some point to dip back into that draft. You're gonna need at some point to dip back in that draft, and when you do, the cars ahead of you are going to be ready to run full tilt, because you know that Clinworth, Kirchenbauer, Keela, Stellard, and Wagner, they're not running these cars full tilt. They're absolutely saving the fuel. As you watch Campbell and Kirchenbauer, along with Clinworth, lead away, and Ty Keela has joined them. So too is John Stellard. Matt Wagner is in 6th. It's now a 6-car race for the lead here, as Wagner has decided he's had just about enough of this saving mess. He's going to drop to the inside of primetime John Stellard. Now he'll work on Ty Keela, and I believe that's the signal from Matty Wags. He's turned it up. He said enough. I'm going to go to the front.
Yeah, he went the longest on the first stint, and he was the only one on the original strategy, if we went green, that could have made it on 2 stops. He made it to lap 45. Everybody else pitted around 42, 43, and that was just a couple laps short. Now Matt Wagner says, you know what, I'm going to go full send. I want to get the lead of this thing, and I want to run off with the rest of the field. So he is on a full push, full charge at the moment to see what he can do on this different strategy.
Well, and remember the points, too. I mean, Matty Wagner and Kyle Clinworth are in a battle for the top spot. Wagner trails Clinworth by 14 markers, and he would dearly love...
Car through the infield.
That is Gary Lovern. Lovern saved it. Well, I spoke too soon. Now he's going to spin backwards through the exit of pit lane. Back on the grass, has not yet brought out a caution, and I don't know that he will. He is not on the racing surface. Now he climbs back onto the banking. He's very slow, and he's starting to get back up to speed. But Gary Lovern, poor Gary Lovern crashed for almost 3/4 of a mile there. He's going to spin it coming off of turn number 4. There's the contact with Andrew Serwak. Looked like a little bit of net code. He's going to dirt track it through the grass, and then his tires are pretty angry with him, Caleb. After doing that, he's going to come back out. He's going to try to get back up on the banking, and he hits the gas, and around she goes again.
Yeah, just absolutely unfortunate. Fortunately, he is still on the lead lap, so if we do manage to get under a caution, he won't lose too much. He'll just have to fight his way back up to the front. So we are now back at the front of this field, and we are seeing the other type of racing that we mentioned at the very beginning of this broadcast is now we're in a fuel. We're actually doing all three at the moment. We're doing a fuel save, we're doing a tire save, and it's a pack race here, Murph. It's all three at once.
And this is what I call one of the most dangerous times to be in one of these cars. When you're fuel saving, you're all right on top of one another. You can't get away from each other. Everybody's got an agenda. You can hear Indy Kirchenbauer way off the power going down the backstretch in turns 3 and 4. Nobody wants to lead this thing now. Ty Keela says, look, if y'all are going to stand on the brakes, I'm going to go ahead. Ty Keela goes to the lead. But you can see visually the rev counter at the top of the steering wheel, and you can hear it from the engine. These drivers are not going full send here, Caleb.
No, they are not. They're likely in that map 4 to map 5 range and doing massive lifts in the corners to just try to save as much fuel as possible. Meanwhile, Kyle Clinworth goes to the bottom. He's going to take the lead here of the race. Start at the back of the field, and now he is in the lead coming off turn number 2.
You know, I think it may be that Clinworth and Keela have said, look, we've saved enough. It's time for us to get the hammer down. Primetime John Stellard has moved into the picture. He is now 3rd. Ryan Campbell drops back to 4th. He led for most of this race, but now he's in a position he's going to have to save some fuel. And Indy Kirchenbauer is back in 5th, and now Kirchenbauer decides he's going to join his Votive Racing League teammate at the front. He goes into 4th past Campbell.
Yeah, it's just a situation of, if you're going to restart in front and you're in a fuel save, well, you're going to have to eventually drop back to try to get some draft and try to save us a little bit in the mid-course of the run. And that's just an unfortunate circumstance that Ryan Campbell is going through. Clendy and Ty Keela are swap drafting at the front, and we'll see if they are able to make it to the end going this early. From here, with how much they were saving, if they were map 5 or map 4 or 5 and doing those big lifts, they might be good, but it's going to be still very, very close for those two drivers on whether or not they can make it on here. And now you look at the rest of the field. Well, now the field is kind of spreading out a little bit, and we're still getting a lot of side-by-side action, but it is starting to spread out here.
It is. Primetime John Stellard has now caught right back up. The swap was ineffective, and Nate Fields has it turned all the way up. He's saying, look, I'm not going to save anymore. I'm going to go to the front. Nate Fields at one point had dropped from 5th to 15th. He has gone back from 15th to the lead, and he'll now lead around Kyle Clinworth, Ty Keela, Primetime John Stellard, and others. There's about 10 cars in that lead draft. Well, 11 cars in the lead draft. I heard a car getting a wall back there, but everybody up back to Brian Greenlee has a shot at this. Clinworth now goes back by Nate Fields, and he's opened up some distance between himself and primetime John Stellard.
Yes, he has, and he's still going side by side with Kyle Clenworth. Ty Keela right behind them. Ty was swapping with Clendy earlier when Clendy got the lead. He was up there, and now he's swapped back to third. It looks like he didn't save enough fuel, or maybe he's just trying to be patient, trying to save the tires at this point. Now Nate Fields has completely dropped Clendy, and Clendy's about 3 to 4 car lengths back. And we'll see if he's able to pull a gap on him, not only Clendy, but the rest of the field here. And it looks like he is doing that. He is pulling on Clenworth just a little bit on the lap one, going to lap 100 here, Murph.
33 laps to go this time by Nate Fields. Kyle Clenworth working the lead. Everybody behind them, they're jockeying for position, waiting for the time, waiting for the fuel calculator to tell them it's time. Nate Fields has decided it's time already. He leads it with 33 laps to go, Caleb. This is going to get interesting because not only is the fuel burning away and you got guys managing their fuel status, you've got drivers managing tires, you've got some that care about that, you've got some that don't. Nate Fields is saying, look, burn it down, man. If I can lead this thing and a caution flies, everybody's going to pit anyway, and then, I can come out and I can hold the bottom for 20 laps, right? Clenworth, he has to be a little bit more careful because he's running for a championship. So too, Matt Wagner. They can't afford, and there's Wagner back in the fifth spot. Those two drivers, they can't afford to gamble. They have to make sure that they're good on the fuel. Ty Keela, he has no concerns. He's this is his first race in the series this season. So Ty doesn't really care so much. He's just ready to go win a trophy.
Yeah, he's going to be a one and done pretty much if he does win this race. Get that 100% Polish SVG and just get that 100% win ratio in a league and just say, "Yep, I've done it, boys. I've done it." But he is in the third place spot. We know he has the talent to win this race. Well, it's just a matter of if he can get around Kyle Clenworth, his teammate, and Nate Fields at the front of the field.
Yeah, Ty Keela has gone past primetime John Stellard, but he's brought Matt Wagner with him into that fight. Clenworth works to the inside of Nate Fields, and so Clendy is going to make it too wide, and I think that's a bid, not necessarily for the lead here, Caleb, but it's a bid to kind of wall off the air because Matt Wagner had been making a ton of time on the bottom, and he's now stuck Wags on the bottom, and that's going to stall his run out. With Keela on the top, he's not able to arc the car like he was just a few laps ago. Nate Fields, Clenworth side by side at the front. Row 2, Matt Wagner, Ty Keela, and now Wags is gonna clear Ty. I believe he had him just for a minute. Wagner needs to get up there and go through the middle, and he's got Brian Campbell behind him. Ryan Campbell is thinking, look, I need to get back up here and start worrying these guys. Wags needs to slide up here, but he doesn't do it. We talk about the Great Wall of Power slide sometimes, Brashear. Now it's the Great Wall of Rogue at the front.
Well, at the moment, they're trying to make it the Great Wall.
Oh, four wide.
Four wide. Ryan Campbell on the bottom, Clendy in the middle, Ty Keela on the top, and now it's a wall of Rogue. Matt Wagner loses 4 positions there just through that one corner. He drops back to the 6th place spot. Now the top 3, all Rogue, Ryan Campbell, Kyle Clenworth, and Ty Keela, and Ryan Campbell's back up to the front. Ty Keela, Kyle Clenworth going side by side. Ty Keela clears his teammate, and now it's a battle for the 2 newest drivers of the series, battling for the win here with about 22 laps to go. Or not, 25 laps to go, sorry.
They are indeed. Ryan Campbell reassumes the position he held for about the first 75 laps of this race. On the bottom, he's got new talent to the top side. It's no longer Indy Kirchenbauer. Instead, it's teammate Ty Keela. They've got Kyle Clinworth in third, and Clinworth's going to drop to the inside of Keela. He'd like to get a piece of the lead, get back up there and score maximum points. Indy Kirchenbauer fourth, and Nate Fields is along in fifth. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get on all of the iRacing.
I do want to point out briefly here, Murph. Matt Wagner has damage. He got into contact earlier with John Stellard in turn number 4, and now he's at the back of this pack here, Murph, and he has hit the wall. I think he has side pod damage, and I think he has a little bit of front wing as well. You can see a little bit that the front right end plane has a little bit of scratching on it. So it's not completely broken, but he does have damage on his IR18 at the moment. Meanwhile, back up at the front of this field, Ryan Campbell, Kyle Clenworth, well, they've been doing it for the past 10 laps, and honestly, for a portion of this race, they have been at the front, and Indy Kirchenbauer has now been reintroduced to the top 3 position, and now he looks around the outside of Kyle Clenworth, going through 3 and 4. He has the foot down. Is he able to get that second place position? Looks like he's just there, but not able to quite clear him going down the front stretch.
Now, Indy Kirchenbauer's got the top line. Clenworth moves toward the middle lane to get some fresh air on the front wings of his Dallara. Can't quite make it work. It is worth noting Ty Keela had a spin coming down the front straightaway. He has been moved all the way back to the 18th spot. Clenworth now.
It was contact between him and Surowak going through turn 1 and 2. They went to the infield and stopped. They got side pod stuck together. And Ty Keela now, a strong running towards this later portion of his race, is effectively out. He's going to go a lap down here. Yeah,
Andrew Surowak limping around. You see the front wing damage. He is going to come to the pit lane. Ty Keela has hit the pit lane already and affected his fast repair. Matty Wagner is just out hoping for a caution here before he goes a lap down. But we're getting on to the final stages of this race. It'll be 16 laps to go this next time, or 17 laps to go this next time through. And Indy Kirchenbauer continues to try to make that high side work and get around Clenworth.
Oh, that's a big send there, Murph. What a send. He's able to not only clear Kyle Clenworth, but he might get Brian Campbell. Indy Kirchenbauer, what a move on the outside going 3 and 4 to take the lead of this race.
Yeah, Indy Kirchenbauer, that tells me that something has gone on in the old fuel mileage computer that says it's time to go. He turned it up, hit the hybrid, and absolutely dropped Clenworth and Campbell. He'll move to the lead. The front 3 have now stretched away a little bit over Nate Fields, and they are a second ahead of primetime John Stellard, Craig Forsyth. Joseph Morales is now 7th. What a great run for Morales as we work into the final few laps here at Chicagoland. Ryan Campbell, he sees the prize evaporate in front of him, and now he's looking at the back. He's looking at the back of Indy Kirchenbauer.
Yeah, it looks like he's able to get the run down these straightaways, but I guarantee you, Kirchenbauer, based on how effective he was able to get that run on the outside of 3 and 4, I reckon he has the best tires of these front 3 here. He's probably been saving the most, and he's probably the best on fuel at the moment, because this is the first time we've really talked about him during this third stint here. And that's probably for a reason. He's probably been saving his stuff for this end run here.
Yeah, and look, I mean, he's been saving it. He's been saving the fuel. He's been saving the tires. He went when he thought it was appropriate to go. Campbell, you can hear it audibly. He is not saving. He is on the gas all the way around the speedway. Full send for Ryan Campbell. Caution is on the speedway. It is Jeff Hysong hard in the wall on the backstretch, and that is going to change just about everything, Caleb.
It will indeed. Well, we definitely got the fuel save portion out. We definitely got the tire save portion out. It was a little bit packy at the beginning of the set. Now, with I'm guessing just short of 10 laps ago, we're going to get the massive pack race here, Murph.
We most certainly are. The question is going to be who takes tires, who stays out. You know there's going to be somebody that we're going to go green. Haisong just simply had the back end swing around coming off of turn 2, which this track is known to do once the tires get old and hot and so forth. The question is going to be who's going to pit, who is going to stay out, who wants the track position, who thinks they can hold the white line on old tires for 8 or 9 laps. We're about to find out. They've been out for 42 on this current run. They are going to want tires. Sheridan Wade is going to be your lucky dog, so write that one down. They're going to want tires. The question is, who is going to take them? We're going to see as they come past the pit lane. It'll be open this time, Caleb. Primetime John Stellard, Craig Forsyth, Joseph Morales, and there are about 5 cars that stayed out here.
About 6 cars. But one of them, I believe, is Sheridan Wade is a lap down, but he has the lucky dog. Andrew Sarawak is also laps down, so he's going to effectively go to the back with it being less than 10 to go when we go to green here. So about 4 cars stayed out, and I don't think the tires have enough life with them. Even if you get them cooled off, even if you get even if we get another caution, like it's going to be a struggle to try to keep Indy Kirchenbauer behind, Kyle Clenworth, Ryan Campbell, Nate Fields, Yari Bubiker, and Domingue. Like it's going to be hard to keep those guys behind on a very old set of tires, especially when the track is as hot as it is, especially when it's at a track like Chicagoland.
It is, and Primetime John Stellard might be okay because he's gonna have the clean air. He's also going to be able to dictate the start, and he's going to be able to control that bottom groove. Craig Forsyth just needs to stick right on his right hip. And keep his front wings in the clean stuff. If you're Morales and Staton, though, here's Joseph Morales. He's currently 3rd. Brandon Staton behind him in the NASA Artemis machine is 4th. If you're those two, you might be in trouble because once you get to turn 3 for the first time, it'll stick well enough through 1 and 2. You get through turn 3, and that car is not going to turn. They're going to have to come out of the power, and they're going to have Indy Kirchenbauer, Kyle Clenworth, Ryan Campbell charging from 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're going to be all over them like bees coming to honey. It's going to be very difficult for those guys to hold on to 3rd and 4th. But I think Primetime John Stellard, this could be the move of the race. If he can get to that bottom groove and get a bit of a lead, he might be able to stay there.
Well, most important thing is he needs to run away as much as he can from Craig Forsyth. If he's able to separate a gap between the top 4 from the rest of the top 4, if he's able to do that, then everybody else that did pit for new tires is going to have to go through that. So if he's able to get a gap here, he has a very good shot. And he goes early, Murph. He goes early on this green flag.
He did indeed. Tires or track position, we're about to find out. There is separation between Forsyth, Stellard, and the pack, and they are all over each other around that 5th spot. Look at this mess. Now, Joseph Morales is still in front of the still in front of the new tires, and he will stay that way. Kirchenbauer is going to clear him coming off of 4. Here comes Ryan Campbell. He's going to clear. Kyle Clenworth has not cleared, though. So Clindy has not cleared. Kirchenbauer is now coming toward the back of Forsyth and Primetime John Stellard.
They're 3 wide in the background. Clendy still has not gone around. Morales there. He finally is able to get alongside going through turns 3 and 4, but right behind her, Yard Rubiker is on the rear wing of Kyle Clenworth, right in front of them. Brandon Stanton, Nate Fields fighting for a top 5 position here. Indy Kirkenbauer looking on the inside. John Stellar, Kirkenbauer to the lead. Let's see how long John Stellar is able to hold on to that second place position, or if he's able to get the lead back. We have a bit of wiggling in the back there. I believe that was Matt Wagner going to the bottom on the apron. This is going to get really tight at the end of this race here, Murph.
You know it is. Now, the saving grace for primetime John Stellard is that he and Indy Kirchenbauer are teammates. So they're going to be communicating with each other as to what's going to happen. They're going to be telling each other what's going on. Craig Forsyth, no such luck. He's the Lone Ranger from that 4D Racewear squad, and unfortunately for Craig, he has got new tires bearing down hard on him in the form of Ryan Campbell and Nate Fields. Kyle Clinworth is a half a second behind them, though. It doesn't look like Clindy got it going on this restart as Campbell moves to the high side on Forsyth, move Ryan Campbell to third, and now the chase is on.
Craig Forsyth losing quite a bit of position there. The tires, they are gone on that machine, and now he's losing to Kyle Clenworth. And he's going to lose out to Yari Bureker. Gary Livern's coming down pit lane. Meanwhile, Indy Kirkenbauer, John Stillard still 1-2 at the moment, but Brian Campbell is on a charge with about 3 to go at the line, and they got a lap car in front. That is Andrew Surwick. Let's see if he's able to affect this race in the dirty air he's given off.
Yeah, now if you're Indy Kirchenbauer, you've got a teammate. You want to kind of move your line to give primetime John Stellard the draft. He did not do that. And so now Campbell is clean through Stellard, and it's going to come down between Ryan Campbell and Indy Kirchenbauer, two of the fastest but yet most I'm going to say meteoric drivers in the service. They're both very fast, but they both have a tendency to be involved in incidents at certain points. Andrew Surwack is going to get all the way against the top. Campbell moves up to get some draft to see if he can't use Surwack to slingshot around Indy Kirchenbauer. We're going to come down and get the white flag this time, Caleb.
They're still side by side. Brian Campbell on the outside. Is he able to just clear Indy Kirkenbauer? Yes, he does. Going to turn number 1. Does Indy Kirkenbauer have anything going on the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4? The snake goes into turn number 3.
The snake does go through turns down the backstretch through turn 3, but Indy Kirchenbauer is not close enough. Ryan Campbell is going to come down the front straightaway here in Chicago. He will defeat Indy Kirchenbauer. Nate Fields will come through in third. Kyle Clinworth will score a fine 4th, and Yari Brubaker is 5th as the field strings across the line. Primetime John Stellard held on for 7th. Craig Forsyth dropped all the way back to 10th, and Brandon Stanton was 11th on those old tires. Joseph Morales did not make it to the finish, so it didn't work out for the drivers that stayed out. Ryan Campbell is going to cut some grass here in Chicagoland. It's Ryan Campbell, your winner tonight. Indy Kirchenbauer is second. Nate Fields is going to round out the podium. A fine run for Nate Fields after he started 5th, went to the back. He came all the way back to the front. Kyle Clinworth is 4th. Yari Brubaker, again, a fine finish for him. He runs 5th. Brian Greenlee, primetime John Stellard. Luca Tedesco, great run for Luca in the 8th. Jeff Hysong is 9th, and Craig Forsyth will bring it home in the 10th spot. 11th. It's Brandon Stanton. Matthew Carroll is 12th. Brandon Domingue 13th. Matt Wagner 14th. Joseph Morales 15th. Wayne Campbell, Gary Lover, and Andrew Surwack. Sheridan Wade, Ryan O'Donohue round out your top 20. 21st and 22nd are going to be Ty Keela and Chris Albrecht. All right. Who do we have in this here Discord? Let's see. Looking for Nate Fields. We don't have Nate Fields yet, so let's bring in our second place finisher, Indy Kirchenbauer. Indy, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Awesome deal. Well, you got the drop on Campbell. You got past him. You got yourself to the lead. You had a teammate there. Campbell, though, massive draft, was able to get past you. What was your plan to get back by him?
Right when I knew he cleared me into one, I knew he was gonna win. I just blew it there. I should have ran the second lane, because if I would have ran the second lane, I don't think he's gonna pass me. Yeah, it's just when you can pinch someone on the bottom like that, you can just go around the top, and it's just it's not what I wanted. I know I started not saving fuel at a pretty good time, and was able to and I was able to get in the lead before we had to pit, and I knew once I got by all the people that stayed out, I didn't think that Ryan would be able to come back up that fast, but he did, and I mean second. Still haven't finished below second in my 5 starts with this league. But I would have wanted 3 in a row, but don't blow it.
You know what though, Clindy? Second is no slouch. You pick up some points on Clindy in the championship table, so that's a good night for you. Caleb Brashear, what do you have for Indy Kirchenbauer, the prodigy, this evening?
Well, right before we got that final caution, you seemed to save yourself better than both Clendy and Brian, and you made I was freaking out a little bit. An absolutely wicked pass on the outside of both of them going through 3 and 4. I guess just talk to me like if that went green to the end, were you confident you could have broken away from them and just set sail into the distance?
Maybe. Don't really know how the race is gonna actually play out. But yeah, I felt like I had I saved more than them. Definitely, and I thought that I did a good job at fuel saving. It's just I wish I would have been able to, stay green. I think if it was green, I would have been up there, but who knows what would happen. But I mean, second's not terrible, but it's not optimal. So I'll go on to next week at where at?
The next race here in the Horizon IndyCar Series is April the 15th at Homestead. So you'll get to practice your tire saving one more time, Indy. Do want to thank you very much for joining in. You get on the podium on P1, you know the drill. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Shout out my go-kart sponsors, BGM Raid Associates. Make something on YouTube. Also, shout out Bayside Comfort Heating and Cooling, and Taupe Soaps, and then Votive. Thank you to Votive Racing, and thank you for putting this on. I'd like to shout out the Thursday night Dirt Legends slots that I've been doing at 8:45 and 9:45 Eastern Time. They're at the Chili Bowl this week, if anyone wants to join. And yeah, thanks for putting this on. Thank you to everybody running the league, and I'll be back next time.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for stopping in and dropping by, Indy. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we will see you at the next one.
Yep, I'll definitely be there. Homestead's really good.
It is indeed. That's Indy Kirchenbauer. He is your second place finisher. We're going to cycle back and grab Nate Fields for the third place interview. Nate, you've got Murph and you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Oh yeah, how's everybody doing tonight?
You know, we're feeling pretty good. You must be feeling pretty good. You started up front, went to the back, came back to the front. Talk to us about your night.
Oh, it's I'm sweating my butt off, but running with these guys, it'll do that with you. You know, a lot of talent here, but I know it's a fun league. It's competitive also, but you know, I have a lot of fun doing it. It was just tires first stint, you know, was terrible. Tried to save a little fuel too. That's kind of when I was kind of cycling back a little bit. It took me, I don't know, probably 95 laps to figure out what I'm doing. So I ended up kind of figuring it out, and there at the end took tires, was able to capitalize on that. So
Caleb?
Well, it seemed like at the beginning of that final stint there, that 53 lapper when it went green, you seemed to go made your way up to the front. You were battling the leaders. Were you good that early on when you made your way up to the front, or did you still have to save a little bit of fuel if it was going to go green to the end?
fuel wise, I was right on the money. I mean, right on the money. I mean, so I knew I had to get a few laps, at least maybe 10 plus, run on a a higher map to make it. I'm not 100%, I'm about 90% sure I would have made it, but 10%, and I'm kind of glad the caution come out. But and you cycle through pits, wasn't real sure if I wanted to or not. But I'm glad I did. So, tires is everything here. Remember that.
Yeah, tires is everything here, Nate. And thank you so much for dropping in. You get on the podium at P1, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Hey, Team Indy One, Sharon Wade. Just he's my son. It's a little small team. We just do this for fun. He sometimes can't get in because of work scheduling, but that's that's kind of our motto. Just two regular dudes, and we love doing this and try to work harder every week, and that's about it. Shout out to my wife, everybody watching out there. P1 broadcast. Thanks for everybody, Matt and Horizon. Appreciate everybody here. A lot of talented drivers here, and I'm glad to be here every week.
Absolutely. Well, Nate, thank you so much for stopping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. Welcome to the podium.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. That is Nate Fields. He runs in the third spot tonight. And for your winner, we're going to bring in the soup can, or soup, or Ryan, or whatever we're calling him in these days. Ryan Campbell, you've got Murph, and you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got us?
Oh yeah, no, of course. And I'd like to state this is my first race in this league. I currently have a win rate of 100%.
You gotta retire now, right?
I know exactly. That's my plan. Retire on top.
So you led away from the very outset and held the lead for most of the first 2/3 of the race. Were you short on fuel and had to kind of cycle back there into the pack a little bit? Was that the thought process?
Yeah, 100%. When it became a fuel save race, I kind of went from the one kind of manning the ship to sinking, because once you're in the lead, you have no air to help you draft, so you're kind of inherently getting the worst fuel number. So I kind of made the decision that I've been the best car all day. I got to go back, save some fuel, make sure I'm safe, and find my way back to the front. And that's what I did. Clendy and Indy, I think, were my clear two. Like the two guys I was most nervous about letting them by. So I kind of got lucky there where Indy was deciding to lead. So I was just fuel saving off of him. So I could just I knew inherently I'd be better than him and it would turn into me versus Clendy. But then there was that yellow with about 15 to go that threw everything off. And that track position then became a detriment that I had to overcome. So I hope I made some pretty good TV there, going from what was that, 7th to 1st in about 10 laps. So I hope that made for some good TV for you guys.
It was indeed. Caleb, what do you have for the Campbell special this evening?
Well, it's not a super related question, but it is a food related question. Whenever I do the AMA, I always ask if it's a first time winner of the season. This question, and considering that you're first time winner of the series in 100% win ratio, I'll ask you this question: what's your favorite chicken wing flavor?
Oh man. Uh so
He,
something you should know about me is I'm a loser, you know. I'm a mild sauce guy all the way, so I'm as mild as it gets.
now, wait a minute. You work for Dale Coyne. Do you guys get chicken wings over there? I thought it was bologna sandwiches.
Yeah, chicken. I'm actually the one who orders the food for them. I get my guys, you know, Subway at best, you know.
I have a follow up for that. What's your favorite flavor of Campbell's soup?
You want to hear something funny? So my last name's Campbell. My whole life I've pretty much been soup related, but I'm not the biggest soup fan.
Blasphemy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible Campbell, but you know, I'm just a good old classic chicken soup.
I'm gonna send at least 12 cases of Campbell's soup to the coin shop to go along with the other presents that I send over there from time to time. Campbell, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping in. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Go ahead, man.
I mean, shout out to all my friends and family watching. I think my grandparents are watching this race, and I actually think this is their first race that they're watching that I actually win. So I'm glad that I now know that they're not bad luck for me. So I finally got that monkey. They were watching me last week on Sunday, and I lost this race at Chicagoland with a tie. So I was starting to think they might have been a jinx, but
I had a
no,
ringside
that's not
seat
the
for
case.
that one. That was
Oh,
fun.
that was a fun, that was
You
a
also
fun
had a
one.
you had a ringside seat to me going into the turn 2 fence.
You know, I got a better idea. You know who you should show this to? You should show this race to Rocket and then see what
Oh,
he
I love
thinks.
it.
Yeah, show it to Rocket.
But no, shout out to them. Shout out to my team. That's a lot of fun. Always racing with Clendy and Ty. That's a lot of fun racing with them. So as always, shout out to my team and shout out to my family.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have you in here, Ryan. Thank you so much for stopping in. Keep going fast, having fun, and good luck virtually. Good luck in real life for the rest of the season. You hear?
Thank you, and thank you guys for the broadcast. I can't wait to watch this one back.
Absolutely. That is Ryan Campbell, the man known as Soup. If I can get him out of the booth, there he goes. If I can get him out of the booth, we're in good shape. Caleb, you know, I love races that have everything, and this one did. From tire saving to fuel saving to ultimately just a speed run at the end. Ryan Campbell is going to bring home he's going to capture the flag and bring home a win in his first start in the series tonight at Chicagoland.
Yeah, it is, and he pulls an SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, when he won Chicago Street. He currently, I think he's got to retire. He can't ever do another race at Rising Series. He's got to have the 100% win ratio. But in all seriousness, it was a very enjoyable race, and it threw a lot of curveballs, especially when we got that first caution. It became a fuel save race. We saw a lot of people pushing, a lot of people saving, and then that basically went entirely out the window, and then decided to, all right, let's make it a mad dash to the line to finish off what was a very, very interesting Chicagoland race.
Absolutely. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in, and do want to remind everybody, hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, because we have a full slate lined up for all of our iRacing fans this week and into next. The Formula Super Series is still ongoing on the second stream, so if you want to catch the end of that one, you are more than welcome to once we conclude. Tomorrow, it's the AMA Custom Arms Grand National Series. Caleb Brashear and I will be back, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. That's going to be from Rockingham. Friday, we have a special treat for you. Gary Godso is going to have the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, same time on Friday night. No races this weekend. It is Easter after all. We'll be back Monday for the IndyCar Series Monday Night Top Split from Miami, and they'll be followed immediately thereafter. That's at 8, and at 10, it'll be the Indy Next Road Series Top Split from Algarve. Tuesday, it's a triple header with the... It's a Tuesday triple header. The 2026 Elite Racing Indy Light Series PresleyAsura.com round from Indianapolis at 7:30. We'll have the Indy Oval Top Split at 8:15 and the Indy Next Oval Top Split at 9:30. No Horizon IndyCar Series next week. Formula Super Series will be back at 8:20 p.m. right here on P1. As always, we want to thank the drivers on the tracks, the fans in the stands, Whiplash Simcams for the views, and we want to thank the people that really make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen the firemen, the EMTs that drive the ambulance, and Caleb, the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all. We do want to recognize the crew of Artemis 2. Godspeed and stay safe on your way to the moon. We will see you all tomorrow night for the AMA.
Strap in, feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hat pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move, when I break, when I bang through the lane. 4D on my skin, when I lose, when I win, I'm alive in the light of the game I'm in. 4D, 4D, 4D. It's different. Yeah.